news on African News 24 TV, where we bring you the latest from Lagos and beyond on African News 24 TV. I am Mary Adam. Let's get straight into with the headlines first. Nigeria have defeated the Republic of Benin 4-0 in the ongoing World Cup qualifiers, restoring hope of participating in the 2026 FIFA World Cup finals in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The federal government has dropped mathematics as admission requirements for arts and humanity courses. The last PDP governor standing in the southeast, Peter Mbah, decamps to APC. And now to the news in full. Let's begin with the breaking news of Nigeria's 4-0 victory over the Cheetahs of Benin in an outstanding performance in the FIFA World Cup qualifier.
Of course, also big, 6 foot 4 nearly, just to give you an idea of, the size. That's a great through ball. Victor Osimhen on his right foot, gets the shot, he gets the goal. Nigeria, within 3 minutes, have taken the lead. A solid, slick through ball and a fantastic finish from the deadly striker Victor Osimhen. And the fans are already out of their seats. The musicians are making the noise. And the players are celebrating. Currently playing in Switzerland for Yverdon Sport. Chikwueze.
For more on this, we have a sports analyst joining us to discuss what this game means for Nigeria. Mr. Azubike Onicha is joining us via Zoom. Mr. Taiwo, congratulations, is in order on a day like this. It seems Mr. Azubike will not be joining us at the moment. In other news, and in what seems like good news for students of arts and humanities, the federal government has announced that mathematics will no longer be a compulsory subject for students seeking admission in those courses. The new policy, released by the Federal Ministry of Education, applies to all universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education across Nigeria. According to the ministry, the move aims to remove unnecessary barriers while keeping academic standards intact. Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, says the reform will promote inclusion and expand opportunities for Nigerian students. Still on education, the latest development to the face-off between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of the Universities, ASU, is that vice-chancellors have been directed to begin implementation of the no work, no pay policy. This directive is coming from the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, as follow-up on the threat to the striking university lecturers. The minister gave this directive in a circular sent to education stakeholders, including pro-chancellors, the Accountant General of the Federation, and the National Universities Commission. According to the document, the minister expressed disappointment over ASU's decision to embark on strike despite ongoing talks. He warns that it will no longer tolerate disruptions to the academic calendar. Meanwhile, the impasse between ASU and the federal government dated back in time. In our next report, Christiana Chikezi takes us through how it has been.
For more than 25 years, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has often clashed with the Nigerian government over poor funding, unpaid allowances, and unfulfilled agreements. These disputes have led to repeated strikes that continue to disrupt the country's university education system. ASU's major strike after Nigeria's return to democracy began in 1999. The action lasted about 5 months, with lecturers demanding better pay, improved working conditions, and proper fundings for universities. 2 years later, in 2001, the union went on strike again for nearly 3 months, calling for the reinstatement of sacked lecturers and full implementation of earlier agreements. The 2003 strike became one of the longest at the time, lasting about 6 months, while a shorter one followed in 2005, both over the same issues of poor funding and government neglect. In 2009, ASU embarked on a 4-month strike, which led to the signing of the now famous 2009 FGN and ASU agreement. The deal covered salary structures, allowances, and revitalization funds for universities. But by 2010, the union said the agreement for more than 25 years.
Let's turn our attention to the political arena with the news of the governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, who has decamped to the All Progressives Congress APC. Mba's defection ends weeks of speculation of his political future. Mba announced the decision to decamp during a brief ceremony at the government house in Enugu, the state capital. The governor has defended his decision, saying it was made in the interest of unity and progress. He said the decision was not taken lightly, but taken to serve the people of the state and align his state with APC's vision of development and progress. Meanwhile, opposition in the state has criticized the defection, which it says is a betrayal of the mandate given him by the BDP supporters. While he celebrates the addition, the All Progressives Congress is certain of winning the Southeast region during the 2027 general election. The senator representing Abia North, other Senate Orji Uzokwalu, expresses confidence in the party's chances of victory, which he says will not be because of the defections, but the party's merit and acceptability in the region. Kalu, while speaking on TVC, attributes the party's growing strength in the Southeast to consistency, sacrifice, and hard work. But the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has said there's no cause for alarm in spite of this, and other high-figure members of the People's Democratic Party not to despair in spite of recent high-profile defection. Makinde said this in Abuja during the inaugural meeting of the PDP National Convention Transportation Subcommittee, which he chairs. The governor stated that the PDP remained on course to recovering power in 2027, notwithstanding the defections. Makinde enjoined PDP members to see the current period as an opportunity for new authentic heroes to emerge, urging them not to despair or engage in self-doubt. The last is yet to be heard of President Bola Tinubu's clemency list. The family of the late Biliaminu Ahmad Bello, the victim of the crime of one of the persons the president gave a pardon, has responded. The family says it is disappointed with the clemency granted to Miriam Sanda after killing their son, who was her husband. Miriam Sanda was originally convicted and sentenced to death for the cold and calculated murder of Biliaminu Ahmad Bello. The family expressed grief, describing the president's decision as a grave injustice that not only reopens old wounds, but also severely undermines their faith in the nation's justice system. They fear that such decisions may erode public trust and send a disconcerting message about accountability and the rule of law. In other news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has increased the pump price of premium motor spirit, fondly called petrol, to 992 naira per litre in Lagos. The NNPC Limited also increased the price of the product to 955 naira per litre in Abuja, the nation's capital. The new price has taken effect across several NNPC Limited retail outlets in Lagos and Abuja already. The price hike shows an increase of 127 naira in Lagos from the previous rate of 865 naira per litre, and a 65 naira increase in Abuja from the previous price of 890 naira per litre. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has warned that claims of monopoly, especially in the petroleum sector, could discourage local investment in Nigeria's economy. Dangote gave the warning in Abuja on Monday at the inaugural annual Downstream Petroleum Week, organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources. Represented by the Group Chief Strategy Officer of Dangote Industries Limited, Aliu Suleiman, the industrialist called for policies that promote productivity, innovation, and healthy competition across critical sectors of the economy. On the issue of monopoly in crude oil refining, Dangote maintained that no one is prevented from investing in the sector, noting that too many people with the means to build industries prefer to invest abroad. But the Dangote Group chose to build, produce, and employ locally. He urged stakeholders to avoid using the cry of monopoly to stall economic growth, stressing that industrial investments should be encouraged, not discouraged. The call for a stronger voice for Nigeria's royal fathers is echoing once again, this time from both governors and monarchs gathered in Lagos. They say it's time to restore the traditional institution to its rightful place in the nation's constitution. Lydia Ajayi reports from Lagos.
It was a gathering of thrones and authority as state governors and reverend monarchs from across Nigeria converged for the meeting of the National Council for Traditional Rulers of Nigeria. Themed the traditional institution, the imperative of its inclusion in effective and efficient governance in Nigeria. The dialogue sought to redefine the role of royal fathers in nation building. President Bola Tinubu cautioned traditional rulers against being dragged into partisan politics, stressing that what they truly need is legal backing, not political alignment. President Tinubu, who was represented by Governor Uzodinma of Imo State, lamented that the 1979 Constitution stripped the traditional institution of its rightful constitutional roles, despite their earlier recognition in the 1960s.
Section 5, subsection 1A, declared that all traditional rulers in the region were ex-officio members of the House of Chiefs, not just first class or selected chiefs, but the full traditional leadership structure. Additional members were appointed to represent provinces and districts, and the House of Chiefs operated as a full legislative chamber.
Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, also lamented the disruption caused by military incursion into governance, noting that it sidelined the invaluable contributions of traditional rulers. He emphasized that many monarchs played crucial roles in returning Nigeria to civil rule, a contribution that should not be forgotten. Sanwo-Olu urged that the ongoing conversation should focus on giving clarity and structure to the traditional institution to strengthen peace, community development, and governance at grassroots.
When traditional leaders are clearly woven into governance framework, their authority can become a valuable asset for fostering peace, restoring conflicts, and driving community engagement. As our nation grapples with complex social, economic realities, security issues, it is critical that we tap into the wisdom and the influence of our traditional fathers in a coordinated and structured manner.
The meeting, chaired by the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Saad Abubakar, and co-chaired by the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, drew attendance from royal fathers across the country and several state governors.
All of us here are here for one important reason: for a greater and more united Nigeria. And we cannot do so unless we honestly, and I mean honestly, love one another, support one another, and try to do the best we can as we try to offload the heavy load the Almighty placed on our shoulders as our leaders.
We are not competing with you. We are there to complement you in everything we do. We will continue to support your executive powers, but please, don't relegate us according to the constitution that we are under the local government chairman.
As the echoes of tradition met the language of governance, the call was unanimous to restore the dignity, recognition, and constitutional relevance of Nigerians' royal institutions.
Prominent entrepreneur and philanthropist Tony Elumelu has called for a shift in the way Africa is supported, stating the need for investment and partnership over charity. Speaking at a high-level Africa-Europe summit focused on economic cooperation and sustainable development, Elumelu said Africa's future will be built through investment, partnership and entrepreneurship, rather than aid. He emphasized the importance of empowering small and medium-sized enterprises and young innovators to unlock the continent's economic potential and achieve inclusive development. Elumelu's sentiments were echoed in his recent announcement of a $15 million grant to support 3,000 budding entrepreneurs from 52 African countries through the Tony Elumelu Foundation. In a moment filled with deep emotion and reflection, colleagues, friends, and families gathered to honor the life and legacy of late Arise television presenter Somtochukwu Maduago. Speaking during the service of songs, Director of News and Politics Editor Arise TV, Somna Sambo, described her as a woman rich in hope, a fighter whose spirit radiated strength and resilience. He also revealed that Somtochukwu's parents had waited for 5 years before her birth, describing her as a miracle child who came into the world fighting to live and continued fighting for others until her final days. In her brief but impactful career, Somtochukwu championed the voices of young girls, using her platform to advocate for equality, truth, and justice. As colleagues paid tribute, they urged one another to recommit to the values she stood for: integrity, resilience, and a passion for storytelling. Her legacy, they said, will continue to inspire journalists to pursue justice, promote truth, and amplify the voices of the voiceless. Let's get to the world of business now. All is set for Nigeria, who will be receiving a major financing package from the European Union aimed at strengthening its agricultural sector. The European Investment Bank, which approved a €190 million credit facility, about 320.5 billion naira, said the sum is to be channeled through Nigerian commercial banks and development finance institutions. This facility was agreed during a bilateral meeting between the bank executives and officials from Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning at the Global Gateway Forum in Brussels. Energy and economic experts have advised the federal government to swiftly monetize Nigeria's vast oil and gas reserves before global demand begins to decline amid the worldwide energy transition. Experts made the call during the 18th International Association for Energy Economics Conference in Abuja. They warned that as developed nations accelerate toward low-carbon economies, countries like Nigeria risk being left with stranded fossil fuel assets if urgent steps are not taken. They pointed out that despite being a leading hydrocarbon producer, Nigeria still grapples with severe energy poverty, with millions lacking access to electricity. Let's go on a break now. When we return, we'll tell you what the president of Madagascar, who fled his country, is saying. Don't.
The Nigerian music industry has witnessed a significant shift in popularity and success over the years. Many artists who once dominated the airwaves and commanded large followings have seen their careers decline. Here are 10 Nigerian artists whose careers have gone down the drain. 1. Daddy Shoki. Daddy Shoki was a pioneer of the Agbaman style of music. His popularity peaked in the 1990s with hits like Diana. However, his music career has declined significantly since then. 2. Olumentain. Olumentein's hit single Yauze became a massive success in the late 2000s. However, his subsequent releases failed to match the success of Yauze, leading to a decline in his music career. 3. Face. Face was a prominent figure in the Nigerian music industry in the late 1990s and early 2000s, despite his hit singles including Femi Kuti and Kolo Mental. His career has struggled to maintain momentum. 4. Solid Star. Solid Star's music career has faced significant challenges, including limited releases and reduced visibility. Despite his initial success, he has struggled to regain momentum in the competitive Nigerian music industry. 5. Red MC. Red MC's unique style and energetic performances initially gained attention. However, her career failed to sustain momentum due to a lack of consistent quality music and strategic management. 6. Flex B. Flex B's popularity peaked in the mid-2000s with hits like Omorire and Number One Fan. However, his subsequent releases failed to match the success of his earlier works, leading to a decline in his career. 7. Tony Tetula. Tony Tetula was known for his humorous lyrics. However, his popularity has waned over the years due to a lack of consistent quality content and changing musical trends. 8. Mehdi. Mehdi's music career has been marked by struggles to regain momentum. Despite his collaborations with prominent artists, he has failed to produce hits that resonate with his fan base. 9. Korede Bello. Korede Bello rose to fame with his hit single Godwin. Despite his initial success, his music career has experienced a downturn with limited releases and reduced visibility. 10. Dija. Dija's soulful voice and potential were evident in her singles. Despite her talent, she has faced challenges in sustaining a successful music career with limited releases and collaborations. Despite their contributions to the Nigerian music industry, their careers have not sustained the same level of success as the ones enjoyed.
Welcome back. It seems we have Mr. Azubike joining us via Zoom. Mr. Azubike, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Good evening to you.
Hello, Mr. Azubike. Okay.
I can hear you well.
In the spirit of Nigeria winning the 4-0 over Benin, tell us, what does this victory mean for the Super Eagles?
A big one. Beyond the Super Eagles means a lot for the Nigerians. But for the Super Eagles, hope, resilience, telling you that never giving up, even if Nigerians have given up, is one thing you need to stand out and move to the next level. It just looks like for the first time, all of the permutations that we are getting used to, or we've gotten used to, finally paid off. Where you have points minus from other teams just because one team quits, move from CAF and FIFA, and where you also have 3 points minus from South Africa. That one is none of the business of the average Nigerian. But whichever way, they moved on to the playoffs, is now doing it at this point. So I think it's a great joy for them at this point. We now wait to see what happens in November, where the last 4 teams will face off.
It's been more of struggling for the Super Eagles to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. What could be responsible for this drag?
Please, I want you to come again. You're a bit low on this side.
Struggle for the Super Eagles. Can you hear me, Mr. Azubike?
Still very low, please.
Are you still there, Mr. Azubike?
I can hear you better now.
Okay. I said it's been more of a struggling for the Super Eagles to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. What could be responsible for this drag?
I always start my judgment with planning. And when I say planning, I'm not too convinced with the way the Nigerian board has directed things. And sometimes when I say stuff, it looks like you get too hard. And when you talk about the Nigerian board, the NFF, you also look at what lead to us. It all trickles down. If there is no seriousness from the start,
Big
it
6
trickles
foot,
down and also tells
6
the
foot
team.
4 nearly, just to give you an idea of
the
the size. That's a great through ball. Victor Osimhen on his right foot gets the shot and gets the goal. Nigeria within 3 minutes have taken the lead. A solid, slick through ball and a fantastic finish from the deadly striker Victor Osimhen. And the fans.
The resilience is no longer there. The passion is no longer there. All of these things are missing in the team. But like I said, it starts with management. I wouldn't want to put too much of the blame on the coach. What is available? So much talent in the attack, a couple of talent in the defense. But what does the attacking midfield or the central midfield, or say those parts of the midfield look like? It's a struggle also to get those balls into the attack. We've not played the best of football, from Finidi George to Jose Pizarro, actually, before he left the place. The last time I saw Nigeria play the best of football was under Genotro. You can take this to the bank or take this anywhere. And this was where we beat the likes of Algeria with ease, scoring goals, reckless abandon, Victor Moses and the likes. We gradually we're moving down the drain, and we're seeing the worst of football from Nigeria. That's why struggling to get victories is the norm right now. So if you ask me, like I said, it starts with the management, then the players now pick up from there. These guys are not taking us seriously. Then we can do things the way we like and also go back to our clubs and make money. These days, football is about making money, not about fighting for that badge or that flag for your nation. But Nick, I love the fact that Victor Osimhen had a meeting with the boys the last time and finally paid off.
Is there anything to worry about the Super Eagles' latest performance?
Say that again.
Is there anything to worry about the Super Eagles' latest performance?
Not so much, but like I said, I am still worried about the quality of the team all around. The attack has got too many talents. How many are you going to mention? You talk about Victor Osimhen, that's the number one. You just saw the new man, Adams Arco. I've known that man for about 6 years now from Montpellier. You talk about Tolu Kodare. Victor Boniface is not in camp. Iheanacho is looking to pick up form. All of the attack looking good. But like I said, who should be playing that number 10 role for the Nigerian midfield? That's where the big challenge is. You saw a bit of that did I just say a bit of that? A long time we saw JJ Okocha do that job. Mikel Obi, we insulted him a lot of times for some of the things, but we saw how important he was after he left the team. Now, Alex Iwobi is doing as much as he can. A couple of people have said he's not a bad player for his club side. What's happening to him at the national team? Change of positions, and also the much of load given to him. You need talents to play those roles, and I think that's where Nigeria is having the challenge. I think we should be bothered about that. So playing against teams that understand this so well, and if we're not careful, it might be a challenge. But with the energy they put in, I think it should work out. But if you're telling me about the challenge Nigeria should be worried about, a lot of people say the goalkeeping department. Yeah, errors happen. Nobody was happy with Nwabali, the goalkeeper. But like I said, the midfield has a lot of work to do. If there's anything they can do between now and then, we hope it comes out perfect for the Nigerian national team. But that's my biggest challenge and worry for the team, the midfield.
Can this performance, if repeated at the tournament, take us far?
Can it what?
This performance, if repeated at the tournament, take us far?
That's a dicey question. I don't always want to believe that we can go far. I want to see the results from the start. Because you play this way today and you go back to the way you were. We saw some very good performance from the team under Jose Pizarro at the last AFCON, where they failed to win the title against Côte d'Ivoire. So I think they can go far if they put the same energy in the AFCON. But for the World Cup, they even have to qualify first, because the qualifiers is another tough one for them. The playoffs, I mean, it's another tough one for them. It's more like a semi-final game for the Nigerian team, and they have to put all their energy in. November is what we're waiting for. It's just a couple of, should I say, weeks away, and the event will be up again. But I think the performance was good today. The energy, the vibe, the resilience, and that's what Nigerians want to see. The player goes out, the one that comes in gets the assist from another player who's been on the pitch, and Frank Onyeka rounds off those scoring to make it fun and make it comfortable for Nigeria to qualify. So that energy is needed, and I think they've actually gotten that right. But like I said, you might have the right energy and not have the right players in some positions. But sometimes too many of talent also let a team down. I've seen that with the likes of Argentina. I've seen that with the likes of Portugal. They win this event or they win their major tournament when they don't have some of their great players, but when they have a great team. And that's what Nigeria needs at this point in time. It's beyond having the players. It's beyond just having a performance. It goes beyond that. It's now looking at having a family. They're moving on with that family from start to finish.
Thank you, Mr. Azubike, for sharing your insights.
A huge pleasure to be with you.
The president of Madagascar, Andry Rajoelina, who fled the country, has been speaking from exile. Rajoelina says he has fled the country in fear for his life following the military rebellion. Rajoelina made this known in a speech broadcast on social media from an undisclosed location. He, however, did not announce his resignation. This is the first time Rajoelina is speaking since the CAPSAT military units turned against his government in an apparent coup. Cameroon's political landscape is heating up as opposition candidate Issa Chiroma Bakary has declared victory in the country's October 12 presidential election, calling on longtime President Paul Biya to concede defeat. Chiroma, 76, a former minister and government spokesman, told supporters in Garoua that results compiled by his campaign showed a clear and undeniable victory for the opposition. He urged state institutions and security forces to respect the will of the people and remain loyal to the republic rather than any individual. President Biya, aged 92, who has ruled Cameroon for more than 4 decades, is seeking an 8th term in office amid growing calls for political change. Outside Africa and in Mexico, rescuers have been scrambling to reach people caught off by devastating floods that have claimed 64 lives in central and eastern Mexico, with another 65 reported missing. Torrential rains battered several Mexican states over several days last week, turning streets into rivers, triggering landslides, and sweeping away roads and bridges. Dozens of small communities remain inaccessible by road on Monday, October 13, 2025, days after the deluge, and residents worked tirelessly to clear path for the delivery of food and other supplies. And on to entertainment, we have Fawaz Akoshile standing by.
Wanderers giant at 6'5", but of course also big, 6 foot.
The Nigerian music industry has witnessed a significant shift in popularity and success over the years. Many artists who once dominated the airwaves and commanded large followings have seen their careers decline. Here are 10 Nigerian artists whose careers have gone down the drain. 1. Daddy Shoki. Daddy Shoki was a pioneer of the Agbaman style of music. His popularity peaked in the 1990s with hits like Diana. However, his music career has declined significantly since then. 2. Olumentain. Olumentein's hit single Yauze became a massive success in the late 2000s. However, his subsequent releases failed to match the success of Yauze, leading to a decline in his music career. 3. Face. Face was a prominent figure in the
Good evening, viewers. My name is Akoshile Fawaz, and welcome to the entertainment sector of the African News 24 TV Entertainment. After 4 decades of shaping pop culture and entertaining generations of millennials and Gen Z audiences, MTV has announced that it will cease broadcasting services in the United Kingdom. According to reports, the network will shut down in 5 of its UK channels: MTV Music, MTV 80s, MTV 90s, Club MTV, and MTV Live on December 31. Sources indicate that this decision follows Paramount's strategic restructuring efforts driven by a significant decline in traditional television viewership and the growing dominance of digital streaming platforms, which have changed how audiences consume music and entertainment. Originally launched in the United States in 1981, MTV transformed the global music and entertainment scene by pioneering the concept of music videos presented by on-air personalities known as video jockeys. These video jockeys quickly became pop culture icons, introducing audiences to artists and trends that define entire generations. Over the years, the channel delivered unforgettable moments, from the premiere of the Michael Jackson legendary Thriller video and the historic 1985 Live Aid concert broadcast to the launch of MTV Music Video Awards, the VMAs, which celebrated the very best in global music and artistry, with Nigerian artists also pulling from that award. Afrobeat superstar Davido and wife Chioma pulled out all the stops as they hosted a lavish celebration for their twins' second birthday in Atlanta, United States. The grand event, which took place on Saturday, drew an intimate crowd of family members, close friends, and associates from the singer's record label, Davido Music Worldwide, also known as DMW, the 30BG. In line with the couple's preference for privacy since welcoming their twins, no photo or video of the children were shared publicly. However, clips from the venue showcasing the elegant decor and cheerful guests quickly made their way to social media, where fans flooded the platforms with congratulatory messages. Many admirers commended the couple for maintaining elegance and class while celebrating their little ones, describing the event as a true 30BG style party. That is it for today on Entertainment News. Back to you, Mary.
Thank you for us, and that's the much we can accommodate at this time. Please follow us for more stories and updates. And please follow us on all our social media platforms. I'm Mary Adam. Bye for now.